I love when gay people lie for fun. I'm also guilty of doing it, but it's still funny. Hi, hello everyone, welcome in. My name is Jer, and I didn't write a script today. No, really, I just wrote a couple notes. I don't do off-the-cuff videos that often, but today I wanted to just go off book. So we're gonna have a honest heart-to-heart about Drag Race Belgique Season 1. Over the years, I have been covering Drag Race on a previous channel as well as starting fresh on this one. And for a couple years, I've been working on covering all the seasons chronologically. Now, about the time that I got to Drag Race Thailand, my comment sections were blowing up about people who wanted to hear about Italia and about France and Philippines. People wanted to know my thoughts about Holland 2 because they said it was abysmal. People kept telling me that seasons like Belgique were awful, and I've started to get primed about some seasons. These ones are good, and the ones that we as a collective fandom like, and these are the ones that we feel mid about, and these are the ones we want to throw in the bin and never see again. Whenever Rita was brought up in any capacity, somehow Belgique would catch a stray from someone in a comment section somewhere on the internet. So when I got to this season, I kind of started it like, this is not gonna be the best. This is not gonna be the tea, because a lot of people keep saying it's not good. But also, when I got to Drag Race Holland, people said I wasn't gonna like it, and I really enjoyed everything. Sans the favoritism, like I could have done without all of that. Had that not happened and had my queen Kita not been shafted and get into the finale, I think it would have been a really spectacular season because the drama with the phone was crazy. Anyways, I'm digressing. This is why I script my videos, because I rabbit trail really hard. I went into this season having super low expectations. I can understand why people don't like it. To me, this season doesn't come across much like a Drag Race competition. You can usually see the production's hands firmly on the wheel, but with Drag Race Belgique, it's kind of hard to see what production wants. Do they like someone, or do they not like someone? There is Susan, of course, who kind of gets the Lakeisha Lubamba, the Joffrey, the Jonbers, the Spicy Sunshine. This character who's just not doing good, but keeps getting pushed through the episodes. But then there are queens that are not doing well who do go home. There are queens who do well that get rewarded. So it kind of seems at times like it's a super fair and balanced competition. But then Susan exists. That is background noise to the fact that this season lacks a lot of what makes normal Drag Race kind of spectacular. It lacks the performance challenges like the girl groups, a rusical. It doesn't even have a ball. The looks are spectacular this season, so why didn't they focus on a ball? Was it because Rita isn't very good at balls, Drag Race balls? And so maybe they were trying to tailor the challenges to things that were in her wheelhouse, things that she would have a lot of expertise on, like acting and presentation and improvising, rather than something that she's not so great at, which is performance. Although this was recorded probably around the time that Drag Race Canada vs. World was finishing, so people didn't get a chance to see her perform in Bonjour High and knew that she had really stepped her cookies up. But it is still disappointing that they didn't do a lot of those things that could have made this season really fantastic. This is a season full of performers, and they gave them acting challenges, which is a lot of what people don't like about season 7. We have fantastic performers like Jaden and Kennedy and Katya, but then they're thrust into these acting and improv challenges that they struggle really hard with. Why? Some of the seasons that people like the best are ones where the challenges are more tailored towards the cast. People love season 6 and season 5 because each one of those challenges really draw in on the star power that exists in that lineup. Seasons like 8 or 12 have a lot of challenges that seem more tailored towards the group they brought in. And those are the seasons that people tend to like. They don't like the ones where the challenges seem super disconnected from the cast. And in a lot of ways, I think that's what makes Drag Race phenomenal. When you've got a group of people that work for the challenges they're being given, it presents us with a more pleasurable viewing experience. Those of us who want to see the competition side don't really see them struggle that much. We just see them have a good time, and that's still, I think, enjoyable for us. I don't think anyone watches Drag Race to cringe. We don't want to watch contestants go in who are great dancers and then have to act and say, "Hark, who goes there?" Nobody wants that. And sometimes it goes a little too overboard, where the challenges are too tailored to what the people do, like what we saw in All Stars 10 in bracket purple and bracket pink. And then the show is just a little too produced. I think all of us want to see that fine blend of just enough production, but not too much of it. And I think that's a lot of what Drag Race Belgique lacks. It lacks that firm hand that's guiding the ship through the seas. We just see drag queens hanging out and doing stuff. They don't have any infighting because the show is not pitting them against each other by making them rank who stinks, who's fat, who's ugly, who's bad at drag, and who's going home next. They don't force them into these ranking systems where they have to put one competitor as the top one and one competitor as the bottom. They just put them in a room and say, this is your challenge, do it. And then we see them do the thing. Maybe all of those challenges and the lack of production trying to manufacture some type of excitement creates for a dull watching experience. I have reviewed like 40 or 50 seasons by now. That's a lot of Drag Race sitting up in my head. And a lot of these seasons stand out for really positive reasons and really negative ones. There are seasons that I love because the competition is so thick and dangerous that you can see the competitors struggling to not pass out, like season 3. There are seasons that are just so phenomenal because the cast roster was quite literally everything, like España 1 and UK 2. And then there are some seasons that are just so bad because everything is going wrong and against it. Italia 1, which was abysmal by the way. UK 4, low-key kinda bad. Cheddar and Danny save it, but a lot of it's bad. There are just some really awful seasons, but Drag Race Belgique is not one of those. It's chill, and it's very different. It's got a completely different vibe and energy about it. And that keeps being my buzzword. Every video that I have done talking about Belgique has mentioned the word energy, but that really is the central theme of Drag Race Belgique season 1. It's a vibe, it's a mood. It's all about this collective experience that these queens are having being there. To me, that stands out in a positive way because it is so different. We do not see the firm hands of production trying to force something to happen. We don't see the team trying to create drama where there doesn't need to be that. We get to see semi-competition. We get to see them struggle in challenges that they're not good at, but it's not cringy or bad. They're just kind of there. These are challenges that we've seen in other countries done exceptionally well or exceptionally bad, but Drag Race Belgique kind of just falls into this really safe, almost unmemorable place because it's not reaching to try and be what the other seasons are. It's just trying to exist in the pantheon of Drag Race and do something a little different. And I can really appreciate that. There's been so much of the same and everyone is trying to create that buzz of whatever their favorite season was. Whether that be season 3 or 5 or UK 2 as the barometer for what makes a great and perfect season. And everyone is trying really hard to capture whatever that spark is and create their own lightning in a bottle. But no one is just trying to create a fun time. And I think that's what Belgique did. It's like watching a documentary of queens backstage, like one of those old Netflix documentaries like Pageant, where there's a camera crew running around backstage watching the girls get ready for their pageant, showing them present their looks, and then watching them come back and just talk about how they felt about their presentation. This season is all presentation based. It doesn't reach towards the performance challenges. And on top of that, the casting is great. We have queens like Drag Cohen who come in with such a strong presence, distinctly different from everyone there. Athena Sorgalakis, who dropped the Sorge after this, who is here to show her artistry and have a great time while doing it. Susan, who is struggling hard to connect with the language barrier and make things funny. Mocha Bone, who is a bonkers crazy woman from the start of the competition to the end. Peach, my icon, my legend, who looks a little bit like Sandra Lee if she got yassified, who I personally was devastated when she got eliminated from the competition. My CD queen, Edna Sorgelson. Mademoiselle Boop, who had a slow burn throughout the competition, but when she lit, she was doing the thing. Balenciaga, the queen of IDGAF. And I loved that they just had hairy body. And the runway categories were fantastic. This season is not trying to replicate what others are doing. It's trying to find its own unique path. And sometimes when people try to do something new and different, that's resisted because it's different. It's not the norm. It's not the expected. People don't know how to traverse a path that is being currently forged. And I think what Drag Race Belgique did was so special because it's its own unique path. It's different from everything else. And I love things that are different. I love when things are not trying to be the expected. I love when things are not the norm, just to see what you'll do that is odd from the others. How will you create a space where there wasn't one before? And that's what Belgique did. No, I don't think that every season needs to be this. There's a time and a place for good vibes only. There's a time and a place for not trying to be a drama machine. And I don't think every season can be this. I think too much of this and it gets dull. But in the pantheon of Drag Race, this is a refreshing pool of water in a desert of drag queens who are trying to make their mark and stamp their brand in a very oversaturated market, where we're getting a new season every couple of months. I severely enjoyed Drag Race Belgique, and I think the root of why people really don't like this season comes down to the fact that challenges are not spectacular, but also I think people just really don't like Rita Baga. There are some people that audiences just don't like, and I think Rita is one of them. There was some hostility about the fact that she took this role from someone who existed already in Belgium, but the reality in tea is that the production company didn't want someone from Belgium to host it. They wanted someone from the outside, someone who would not already have an impression of what the queens were doing in their community or what they could do. They wanted someone who was going to judge from fresh eyes, who had no prior experiences of any of these performers. I understand and hear the criticisms about this season, and I myself have even said it's a little dull at times, but I don't quite mind that. It's a nice, easy viewing experience. And sometimes I don't want to get overstimulated with everything that comes with Drag Race. Sometimes I just want to have a good time. And that's what this season was. I highly recommend giving Belgique Season 1 a chance if you have time. And if you don't, then listen to my Drag Race podcast. We covered every single episode in 2 easy to listen to podcast episodes. And if you have the means, please feel free to check out the Extravaganza Extra membership, where you can watch some of my posted videos here on YouTube a few days earlier than everyone else. Thank you for watching, and I will see y'all on the flip.